2006 at the Macomb Catholic Services, 15945 Canal Road, Clinton Township, Michigan. Mr. Michael is 86.
No, 85.
85.
Almost.
Born December 4th, 1920. Currently resides at 50785 Jefferson in New Baltimore, Michigan. My name is Dave Brousseau, and the videographer will be Steve Letts. Walter, let's start at the beginning if we can. Tell us a little bit about yourself before the war.
Well, before the war, I always liked to go to basketball. In 1942, before I went in the Army, I always go to the state finals over in East Lansing. At that time, in 1942, they had all 4 classes, A, B, C, and D, all played at one time. So I got there at 5:30, the D game, C, B, and A. And the games didn't end till 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had to get there and sit there. So you can't beat high school basketball. So I've been going to finals now. Every year I started in 1942. I missed 44 and 45 because I was over on the Anzio Beach in World War II. But then since in 1946 now, I've made every state finals since 1940. I made 61 in a row. And another thing, I got all the programs from everyone from 1941 all the way through up to 2000, except 44 and 45. I'm still looking for them. The original, I offered $50, and I gave them to the high school over in East Lansing, and the man, Paul Paulus, he's in charge of that, and I had every program. He lives in Muskegon. He come all the way to Baltimore to pick, and he couldn't believe it. Everybody had the original programs from 1941 all the way through except 2. So now they give me 2 free tickets, free parking. And they got mine in archive. They kept all in records. Anybody wants to know who played in 1946 or 47, just press the button and they know who played with the scores and players and everything else.
Goodness. Where did you go to high school?
I graduated from Lapeer High School in 1939.
1939.
And a history teacher told me before we graduated, he said, in a couple of years, all you boys will be fighting Adolf Hitler because nobody's going to stop him, so we got to stop him, he said. Either you'll be in the Navy, the Army, Marine Corps, fly, or you'll be in the service, he said. All the way.
So did you get drafted?
Yeah, I got drafted on September the 29th, 1942. And first you go down on the 15th, they said 300 people to the draft board, and only one guy flunked the test because he couldn't walk. That's the only reason he didn't pass. That was on the 15th. He got 2 weeks, stayed everything up, and then September 29th, I left Lapeer on September 29th, and then we got on the train, and guess what the hymn they played? Onward, Christian Soldier. What a hymn to play. We're going to fight a war. And then we went to Battle Creek. Went to Battle Creek, we got there the same day, and 2 days later, we headed for San Antonio, and they told us it was going to be military police. So we got to San Antonio on October the 4th, 1942. And Dodge Field is 7 miles from San Antonio. We took all the basic training for the next 2 months. Then on December, we headed for Camp Beauregard down in Louisiana, Alexandria, for maneuvers. And who do we meet down there? Lieutenant Colonel Eisenhower.
My goodness.
And 4 or 5 years later, he was 5 stars. He saw us on such good duty. We went back to San Antonio, hit him up, and in February, then we started heading for overseas. And then went overseas on March the 5th in Fort Dix. And we landed in Oran, North Africa on March 19th, 1942. Yeah, I mean 46, 43.
Okay. You served in the German campaign.
Yeah.
And you landed where now?
We landed in Oran, North Africa on March 19th, 1943.
What was your job in the Army?
We got in that one time, and when we was over later, we had to guard some prisoners. Then we doing traffic duty. Then went later on, and then we went from Oran, North Africa. We went to to Paraguay. Then we went to Bizerta, to Tunisia, getting ready for the invasion of Sicily. That was on July the 10th, 1943. And we were doing guard duty most of the time, and then the ships are coming, like then we got, in Sicily, we got there stayed there 2-3 months, and like then, and at the end of Sicily, I was walking down the road, and who'd I meet? My classmate coming down the street in Palermo. He graduated in 38, I graduated in 39. See, he was in the infantry, and I was in the military police.
So did you spend most of your time in the service as a military police?
Yeah, I was military all the way through. But we got attached to the 3rd Infantry Division, so wherever they went, we was right behind them.
You brought with you a lot of pictures, some of which were the landing at Sicily.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, the first day wasn't too bad. See, we didn't go in the first wave, about the 4th or 5th wave going in the shore. And one time we was sitting there, and a guy dropped, and he said, I got shot by Monarch, the pilot. He bailed out, and he landed right beside us in Sicily. But see, now that news didn't come out till we got back home, that they were shooting down our own planes.
My goodness.
That happened in Sicily. See, like at 12 o'clock, the Germans would come over and strafe. Then the Americans would come an hour later. It was so dark they couldn't see. They were shooting our own planes down. That happened in Sicily, and then Audie Murphy, he won the Congressional Medal of Honor. And then George Patton, he was in Sicily, and then one guy was in bed, and George was knocking the hell out of him because he's a Goldbrick. So then he got kicked out of the Army for a while. Then 2 or 3 months later, the war was losing the war, so they had to get him back again, George Patton. See, then we went from Sicily, we crossed the Straits of Messina by duck from Sicily, and then we saw Bob Hope and Derek Como, Frank Lampert in Palermo, Sicily. Then we crossed the Straits of Messina by duck. Then we was in Italy, went all the way up through it, and then in November and December, the mud was about 2 feet deep. The Jeeps couldn't even move out. It rained every day, and we were sitting on a pup tent. One of the guys, well, you got a mud bath, he does every day, free.
Are there any other worthy events that went on while you were there for the invasion of South France and Sicily?
Well, no, in Anzio, we got the most action was on the Anzio beaches. We landed there January the 22nd, 1944, and the next day we was halfway to Rome, but Clark thought the Germans was on both flanks, so he sent us back to the beachhead to sit there and wait. So then we waited for 5 divisions from Germans fighting our 2 divisions. And we sat there from January 22nd, and they had this big gun in Albino. He was shooting at us too. First they were shelling it, and we was on duty directed on the track. Shells were popping up all over the place. That was the worst I had was on the Anzio beachhead. We got stuck there for 4 months. We landed on January 22nd, didn't get out of there until the first week of June. Sat there for 4 months. And the hospital, he even had to take the picture out of the hospital because they was getting shelled too. The shells were popping up all over the place. We were on a 4 miles and 8 miles long. And the Tuna is when they put the cemetery. They had, I think, about 4,000 or 5,000 troops that got killed on the Anzio beachhead. But I was just lucky. I just got shelled a couple of times. Shelled, got my head half blown off. I was in good shape. And then they thought, when I went in the Army, I was half deaf and varicose veins. But of course, when we went in September, that time everybody passed. Nobody flunked the test.
Yeah.
And he gave me a test when I was. He thought I was a Goldbrick. He was over here, and I couldn't even hear him. See, I plugged up this here. He said, we got to take a test and prove that you're not a Goldbrick. So he's in back of me. What he did, I don't know. He's slapping that gun, shooting, and I don't even move. He stopped like this, banging away, and I don't even move. He said, I know why. I didn't hear you. That's why I didn't move. Otherwise, the guy shooting gun behind you, jump. He wanted to test, prove that I wasn't a Goldbrick. But that all happened in Anzio Beach. And then we always teasing the cook, We had sea rations in the can. We always said, tell her, now don't burn my sea rations, I don't want them burned. It was just a kid
Good food though, eh?
Oh yeah, we had good food there. We had sea rations for a while, then we got good food after that. And in Sicily, we had them K rations, and they were good. Then we'd trade our sea rations for fresh fruit. And we had Sicily in July, the fruit season, so we'd trade our sea rations for civilians. Everybody eating, and we'd have fresh meat for a while. See, then after Sicily, At Anzio, we went to Naples, get ready for the invasion of southern France. That was on August the 15th, 1944. We landed at Saint-Tropez. And then after that, then we went all the way up through France, all the way through Germany. And just before the war ended, we passed the Dachau concentration camp, so I took some pictures of that concentration camp. And the war ended on May the 8th.
Yeah, you told me you had pictures of the concentration camp.
We went there about the end of April. The war ended on May the 8th, about 10 days before. We passed Dachau concentration camp, so I took some pictures of that place there.
And the concentration camp was called Dachau?
Dachau, D-A-C-H-U. Dachau.
Dachau.
Dachau, it's a small
Dachau.
Like you go in a room in here, and that'd be gas. They'd gas them to throw you out the window. And we got pictures of all that. And that happened that'd be the end about a week before the war ended on May the 8th. I was in Munich, Germany when the war ended on May the 8th, 1945.
Now, where was Dachau?
Just before you get to Munich, maybe.
But it was in Germany.
Oh, yeah, it was in Germany. And then they used to cross the pontoon bridges, they'd blow them out, see, like the Americans would put a fake landing here, and then they'd build a bridge down the road half a mile out, and we'd watch that shelling popping all over the place. But of course, my brother, he's one had a lot rougher than I did.
What was it like as a military police? What was your role in all of this activity as military?
See, most was guard duty, and then we had to guard the troops. And one time we had a trainload of prisoners one time. And the Germans said, he ain't gonna do that. I don't want to get shot. One guy, they didn't give it no problem. One time 50 of them surrendered to me, 50 Germans. We don't want to get killed for Hitler, he said. But I got to speak English. So we took them to a camp down in the middle of the field, took them over there. And they stood there, they wouldn't over there. 50 guys, how could I take care of 50 guys if they wanted to shoot me? I might get 5 or 10, I wouldn't get them all. He said, well, we don't want to get killed either, he said. So they all gave up. And that was in Italy.
Was this before Hitler died, or?
Oh, yeah, that before, yeah. Then at the end of the war, they was taking kids 17, 18, 19 years old to fight against.
So you said the food was good, huh?
Yeah, food was good. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
What about supplies? Did you have plenty of supplies?
Yeah, we had supplies. The only thing is, when we landed in North Africa, we had our wool uniforms on. It was 110 degrees, 100% wools, and the cottons hadn't reached us yet. They didn't reach us till 2 months later.
Did you feel any pressure or stress while you were going through all of this?
Well, when we was in Anzio, you had to get used to it. We'd say we're walking down Death Valley, we used to call it. Sooner or later, you said, just a matter of time before you're going to get when the shell's going to get you. But you can't worry about that because you're not going to go home, we know that. And the war hadn't ended yet. Then, see, we was in June the 4th, we was in Rome, and June the 6th was in Normandy beachhead. And then some of the guys from Sicily, they went to England. Well, they all end up on the Normandy beachhead. And we went north. We went to Rome, and we went north in Italy, up to Naples, and we got on a boat at Naples later on in August for the invasion of southern France.
When you had leave, what did you do for leave?
I didn't get no leaves.
No?
Didn't have no leaves. Well, then I don't tell no leaves about the Red Cross. When we was in Italy, they was charging 5 cents for the donuts. Oh, we ever teed off. So then before we got home, we got home, see, we got home on November 1945, about November 10th. We crossed the Atlantic Ocean on the SS America. In peacetime, they put 700, you know what you put on? We put 7,000 on that ship to go home. We had every 3 feet from here to the ceiling was a bomb. And then we was crossing the Atlantic, we hit a storm, and that ship was going up and down. We thought one day it was going to go down and never come back up. And you had 15 minutes of leave a day. That's all you got for a day, for 7 days. It took 7 days to cross the Atlantic. Then we get to Newport News, Virginia. There was a Red Cross girl giving away donuts. You can imagine what the soldier told that girl, you're doing that damn donut. He was so bad. See? It wasn't that's a nickel. We thought we was giving everything free over there. It was charging us.
You spoke of the entertainers, Bob Hope.
Yeah, Bob Hope.
You got a chance to see him?
No, well, I just saw him. We didn't talk about him. I got put on. When we saw him, that was in Palermo, Sicily. He had Francis Langford, Bob Hope, and Jerry Colombo. He's a character. His eyeballs, one goes this way and one goes that way. He's looking. I can see both directions at the same time.
Francis Langford.
Huh?
Francis Langford.
Yeah,
Boy,
yeah.
that's quite a name.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that the only?
He just had the three of them.
Uh-huh.
Just three that time. Yeah, that was in. See, that'd be in September of 43.
Any other events that stick out in your mind while you were going? Did you have a good luck charm or?
Well, I don't know. I just lucky I lived through it. But you know, we had my buddy in Richmond. He got killed on a beachhead when, in the middle of February, the Germans had the last big push, and they almost pushed us in the sea. We had about 10 seconds to go with ammunition. Otherwise, we'd all been prisoners of war. But they gave up. They never had a big push after that, but they still kept shelling us all the time. I thought, I lived through this, lived through it, and then we had to go for another invasion so after that. But that was the worst part. I was in for 4 months. And no, there wasn't a safe spot on the beachhead because Germans, and then they had a Piper Cub. Like if a German was shooting, he'd say, the target is 2 o'clock, 2:05 is where he's located. Well, the Americans knew what 2:05 was, and then his pop, they start shouting that spot. He was shouting up, and the Piper, but they never shoot on a Piper Cub. He'd fly all the way to German because he's afraid they hit him, they give their position away. So he'd just call in, he'd fly and see a German, he'd call in, 3 o'clock, 3:02 was the word located at 3:02. So they knew where the guy was. The code. Then they always had a code number on Angel Beach as we walk around. Because one time we had a guy dressed in a uniform, and he could speak good English. So we said, well, we're going to trip this guy. We'll ask him how the Boston Tigers, if they won yesterday. Oh, yeah, they won. I was in that guy. He was a spy dressed in an American uniform and speak good English. See? We took care of him in a hurry.
You took care of him?
Yeah. That was his last answer.
What about your fellow officers or your fellow soldiers? Do you remember any of those in particular?
Yeah, we got one now. He lives in Chelsea, Michigan, William P. Long, and I get a card from him every year. And we used to have a reunion every year from 1952. We went all over Hawaii. We went down to San Antonio, Texas, New York City, Washington, D.C. We had a reunion every year from 1950 all the way. I went to about 40 reunions every year. We went together. And now most all the guys are gone because we had guys get drafted up to 38 years. My friend Dale Delfino, he was 37 and I'm 21. So if he's alive today, he'd have to be 101. No way he was alive.
So when did you stop having the reunions?
Well, they still got them, but I don't go because there's only got 2 or 3 of us to go. Up to 5 years ago, I made every year.
Up until 5 years ago?
Yeah. I made about 40 reunions in a row. 504.
Now, when the war was over, you obviously still overseas, weren't you?
Yeah. See, the war ended on May the 8th, and then we went to stationery, and every stationery was named after a cigarette. Herbert Tarrington, Camel, Old, and then we was in Stuttgart, Germany. Then also I was in Berchtesgaden, where Hitler's Height was, and Hitler's Height, we went up there to see his place too.
Oh, you did get to see that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I couldn't get no pictures there. The guy, they wouldn't allow no pictures. So I said, well, that was after, that'd be about 2 months after the war ended. June, July, be about probably August, September. And we was in Austria, and then we was in Stuttgart. It was all after the war, and we were supposed to get home, but we didn't get home until November, and the war ended, or actually a year later, May 15th, that war ended against the Japanese. But we didn't get home until November, so we sat there for 3 months.
You just stayed there?
Yeah.
You were telling me you were taking pictures. What was the name of the camera you were using?
Brownie, a little Brownie. It's about this square. And the best part, I got them pictures. I was in Italy one day, and I saw a Kodak sign, see? So I said, Italian, I said, pictures. He says, cigarette. So I gave him 2 packs of cigarettes, and he developed all my film for cigarettes. That's what I got from that book in that home. Yeah.
You remember the day the war ended?
Yeah, May the 8th, 1945.
What were you doing then?
Well, we was in Munich, and we heard the day before, he said, tomorrow or next day, the war is ended. He got word to our headquarters that war is going to end in a day or two. And we was in Munich, Germany on May the 8th, 1945.
Then what did you do for the next couple of weeks there?
Well, at first they sent us to a staging area, and we sat there, and then we moved from Camp Presbyterian, whole every time they moved us, kept moving us all around. We thought we was coming home, and we didn't get home for 3 months later.
Did any of your fellow servicemen end up being shipped over to the West Coast to the
Well, see what
Japanese?
happened, when we got out on November the 18th, 1945, they asked me if you want to sign the reserves. So I said, no, I made PFC. After 2 years overseas, you get a rank, so I jumped from private to PFC by act of Congress. Then after the war ended, then we got home on November 18th. We got discharged in the morning. They wanted to ask anybody if you wanted to be in the reserve. Well, these guys had sergeant's rating. They signed up for the reserves. So what happened? 5 years later, my friend got a letter. He said, I'm heading for Korea tomorrow morning. So he fought 2 wars. A lot of them fought 2 wars. He signed reserve. I only had no ranks anyway at PFC. And then the day we got out from Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania, we got out on a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock at discharge. So we go uptown to take a movie in. But Pennsylvania has a blue law. Nobody is open on Sunday. Nobody. No movies, no stores, no not. So then we got 12 hours, and our train ain't going to Detroit till 8 p.m. at night. And we got out at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do but sit there.
What did you do once you got out of the service? Did
Well,
you?
see, first I went back to Lapeer, and then at that time, General Motors went on strike in Flint. So I was thinking, hey, I'll go over there and get a job for General Motors. Well, they all went on strike. So then I joined the 5220 Club. And you get that for $20 a month for 20 a week for 52 weeks. So I signed that. But once you sign that, you had to go uptown and prove that you're looking for a job. But I told the guy, I'm not looking for a job too bad. Because I didn't dare tell that. So then in 1946, my uncle opened up a menswear store in the Walmart. So he offered me a job. So I started that. That's why I moved to Walmart August the 1st, 1946. I've been in Walmart ever since. My uncle had the store for 10 years. Then my brother and I took over Michael Brothers on January 1st, 1956. And we sold out on May the 1st, 1983. So I've been retired now for 23 years.
You have a remarkable memory for numbers and dates. I'm just astounded you can remember all of this. Did you practice this before you came here?
No, in speech, I wasn't any good. But every time the peer had a class, I didn't show up. She said, you got to get in front of the class one of these days. So she said, we scheduled a new schedule. So I didn't like to talk in front of a class. I stuttered and I couldn't do it.
And your friendships, obviously, with the reunions went on until
they're still going.
just up 5 years ago, eh?
Yeah.
For you.
No, they still have it. They still 504.
Well,
but see,
for
they're all
you.
younger guys now. See,
Yeah.
504. Yeah, we started with in Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, and then we was in Atlanta, Georgia, Washington D.C., New York City. Oh yeah, in New York City, we went to New York when they had the World's Fair. And I tell you what, I got a glass of milk and a peanut butter sandwich. What do you think they charged me for that in 1960? $5. That was in 1960 for a sandwich and a glass of milk. After the World's Fair, that was in New York. I think it was in 62, 61 in New York. And then we went to Washington, D.C., and then we also went to Washington, we went to the cemetery, Arlington Cemetery, Unknown Soldier, so that too.
How do you think your life has been influenced by the time you spent in service?
Well, one thing when you went in the war, you knew you wasn't going to go home until the war was over. See, whether it was 2 years or 5 years. But you had to accept it, whether you wanted to, of course, we was all forced. they had that crash in 1929, so everybody was poor, everybody helped everybody. Today, you can fall down, like, look at that poor guy laying down there in the street. Ain't that too bad? They wouldn't out because they don't want to get involved. They're afraid that guy will sue them or something, see. But that time, everybody helped everybody, see.
So how long were you in the service?
I was in from September 29th of 42 to November 18th, 1945.
3 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, then I was overseas from March 19th of 43 to November of 45. 30-some months overseas.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us? I noticed that you got a couple medals.
Yeah,
Occupation medals, are they?
Yeah, we got one for North Africa campaign, we got it. Then we got another one for France and Germany, and that. So I got two. I think I got a picture of that one there. Then they got the World War II, and they always got the ruptured duck, they call it. Ruptured duck, they call it.
The ruptured duck.
Yeah.
That.
It's a little thing like this. Like that, I don't know.
Ruptured duck.
Yeah.
Was that the one you get for going by the equator, or is that? There's another name for that.
I gotta get the picture. Here, I get my picture. Wait a minute.
What does the ruptured duck represent?
I should have that picture here. I got my picture here someplace.
Ruptured duck.
That's what it's called. On my uniform, it should be on my uniform here.
Here. So one of
That
these.
little thing right there.
Oh. And what does that represent?
I don't know. I forgot.
Oh. I can't believe you forgot.
Yeah, see, that's all the stars there. See, there's the three ribbons there. See, this stars for all them invasions. That's for three invasions: Sicily, Anzio, and southern France.
You had. Is there anything else you'd like to show us?
We had this letter sent from the 504.
A certificate of appreciation, the 504th Military Police Battalion, and you called yourself the Dragon Fighters. This must have been just kind of an honorary certificate.
Yeah.
You received this after you were discharged?
Yeah. We went to one of our reunions.
Well, I'm really overwhelmed at the number of pictures that you've saved and have made available to us. And you got another book over there. I'm also quite surprised. He kept a diary.
I got a diary.
And in the diary is everything that happened to him methodically through the
and every day when
his time span while he was overseas. I'm sure that helps you to recall some of those experiences.
See, and then I got this here made up too. This here.
Oh, nice.
This here book here.
Now, what's all in here? Just some more pictures?
Yeah, pictures, yeah. See, all the dates and everything else.
Oh, I see.
See, that's our camp. That's a bivouac area in San Antonio, Texas.
So it kind of starts historically going through from the time you were in boot camp until...
This happened in October of 1942, all the way. And see, here's
My goodness. You have done quite a...
That's Carol's rule. I was in Paris, France for about 2 hours and took these pictures in Paris, France. I got Arc de Triomphe, Eiffel Tower, and the main street in Paris.
These are the Paris, France. So you did have some time.
Yeah, we had about 1 day we took off. We went to Paris, France. We gotta say he was in Paris. He was in Rome. He was in Paris and Germany, and Africa, and all that.
Hitler's hideout.
Yeah.
The crossing of the Rhine.
Yeah.
Could you tilt that up a little bit? We're getting a lot of reflection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Okay.
Is that a little better?
You want to point to what we're looking at?
Okay, here is the crossing of the Rhine in France. And this is the Siegfried Line.
Yeah.
And this is Hitler's hideout down here.
Yeah, Busch Garden, that's Busch Garden.
And it's at Busch Garden, Austria?
Yeah.
Now, this must have been after,
Yeah, after
because
the
it
war.
looked a little bit
Yeah,
destroyed
after,
there.
Yeah, that'd be about 2 months after. That'd be, with the war in May, that'd be July or August of 1945.
And then on this side were the pictures that he took while he was in Paris.
Okay.
It'd be kind of interesting to go back now and see what that looks like, whether that's changed or not.
Eiffel Tower, Champs-Élysées.
And again, this must be after the war because there's some pictures here of Germany, Mannheim, and
Yeah.
Heidelberg.
I know that's the war was still on.
Oh, it was?
Oh yeah. Heidelberg, after that, I found the route from France into Germany.
Well, you got a picture of someone coming out of a German plane. What was?
Yeah.
Was that with the war still on?
Yeah.
How did you get that?
He was in, I took a picture of him.
Strange.
Well,
And
you
then-
guys told me I should have been a photographer.
Yeah. Here's Munich.
Yeah, and that's when it was on May the 8th, when the war ended on May the 8th, 1945.
I'm really amazed at what you've accumulated here, Walter. You've done a swell job.
Yeah. You can't believe I got all them dates and everything like this here.
Oh yeah.
Now these pictures they can have. I'll give them pictures. Then they can also have these if they want to read through all these letters here. Centers, you can have that.
The tape.
There's a picture of Anzio Beach out there.
Oh yeah.
And here's that big gun that was shooting at us.
Yeah, I saw another picture of that too.
Yeah, too. And then here's through the cemetery where all the guys got shot and they got.
These are
I think there's 3,000 or 4,000 there. I think got shot on the beach head. At least 4, maybe.
yeah, there are several pictures that he had here of the cemetery. Can you get that, Jim? Steve?
And then here's one that shows where Anzio is.
Oh
in
yeah,
Rome.
in Rome.
And north.
My God, this is
Yeah, and this one here's a building. And that's the building they got
yeah.
got shelled. A lot of them got shelled there on the beach end.
Do we have another tape I can slip in here?
Just turn it over.
The other side is full, isn't it?
No.
No?
The eject button, I think it's at the left side. Yeah,
Here's the one in the harbor there. Getting ready to get harbor.
This is part of the landing.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Let me bring it in.
Is it okay with the light? Now, was this the Sicily?
No, that's on the Anzio Beach.
Anzio, okay.
That's on the Anzio Beach. And this is the Tuna building getting bombed.
If you look up here, you can see what I see. There you go.
And there's another one Anzio in the Tuna cemetery there again too. See, I got all them pictures. And here's that big gun that was shooting at us all the time.
There's that other picture.
He's
of
in
the guy
Albino, in the mountains there, shooting at us. He's shelling us in between.
Wow.
Well,
Now, where would this have been?
oh, that's one that Paul took, that one. Oh, that's an X-ray picture that he took. Add that to the end. Welcome home at the end. Paul Tony took that.
Where was this?
That was some camp in the East Coast.
Oh, I was in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot of it he took, but that building we was in that got shelled. That building got shelled. We were sleeping in one room and a shell hit in the next door.
Is it this way?
No, it's wait a minute here. to be like this here, like this here. We was in the air and the shell hit over here. That's how close we got.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can
The shell, that's the shell hit.
see that.
The shell hit. We was in one room and the shell hit next door. That's why they always say walking down Death Valley, they call it. 'Cause today might be your last day.
Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much, Walter, for sharing all of this with us.
No, you can have, I'll give you all of them. 'Cause I can get more made of these. I'll give you all these here.
And thank you for remembering everything.
Yeah, they can't get over it. Remember, it happened in 1942. That's 64
I
years
can't
ago.
remember what happened yesterday. We have some more. They're okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing what you have shared with us.
You know, the film, they go right in this.
Okay.
That's not really put us in that. Whiteside's there too. She did that. Sue Activity. She got me there in World War II there.
Pretty. And we'll certainly want to talk with your brother too.
Yeah, well, I'll see Paul today, and if we got that there, you don't need this in no more, eh? This here? You want this, don't you?
I believe this is yours.
That's mine, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Walter.
Yeah, now this is your address, how to